Hey everyone, for those of you that watch my video on the long-term effect of these oval chain rings on the various rear derailleurs, you know that the Shimano ones seem to need some attention, some maintenance, and today I'm going to be looking at, this is a 10-speed SLX, so old generation rear derailleur from Shimano, and I'm also going to be opening up this XT M8000. Shimano calls the clutches the chain stabilizer, and this is what they say in the 10-speed derailleur documentation. I couldn't find anything for the new 11-speed. If the friction changes or noise is generated, the grease might have become discolored or might have disappeared. Apply more grease. And there's only about 3 steps here on how to do that. I have 2 clutches that need attention. This derailleur was used throughout the season and is making some squeaky noises as well. And it's also very hard to break loose from that position, and then it's really notchy. It's not smooth at all. So that's a clear indication of the fact that it needs a bit of attention. Second one that I have here, I took this down, I had it on my Kona, and it developed the same squeak and also the same lack of smoothness of the movement when the clutch was engaged. And in order to open up the cap, you need, this is a 2mm Allen key. Make sure you use a good quality one, as it's very easy to strip these screws. There is Loctite on them, so you will hear when they start moving. So here is. That's the clutch from an M8000 rear derailleur, which is the new 11-speed. I have this little lever disengaged right now, and at this point I can tell you that I have this, you see it on my finger here, this fine powder. This is from all the friction, I believe, on that main pivot. Just take it out nicely. This is friction based, so the clutch just clamps onto the pivot and just makes it move harder. Now take a napkin, let's cover this surrounding area here. Also, I want you to pay attention to this. See, this is a little gasket that goes all around here. Make sure you don't lose it. Opening up the old clutch, this is the SLX M675, reveals pretty much the same clutch mechanism. The only difference being the way you adjust it. Here you had to open the cover and use a long nose plier to adjust the tension on this friction band, friction spring. For the M8000 or M7000, all you have to do, reach out from the outside with your 2mm Allen key and adjust it that way. So let's look at this one. This is the one that we've removed from the M8000, and there's a couple of things I want to show you here. First of all, when you insert this back, you have to make sure this is in the right position, otherwise the clutch is not going to do anything for you. This one here is not a round shape, it's an oval shape, and as you turn this, you're going to put more tension on the ends of what's called a tension spring. Once you engage your clutch, okay, that wider part moves into the opening and applies more pressure onto that friction band. So keep a mental note of this if you are unsure how to install it. Just remove this, and now what you're going to need is just a flat screwdriver. Let's see, hard to do this looking into the camera. Look at this. In here is where we are supposed to have the grease. So the grease is supposed to be here on this surface, and it's supposed to be helping the movement of the clutch. As you can see in those 3 grooves, there are some signs that there was some grease in there at some point. Use a tiny bit of paper towel to clean the inside of this friction spring. Nice and clean. Use the same to clean out the outside of the clutch. Now inside here they do use some fine oil. I don't think I would do anything there. I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna clean this thoroughly and apply the grease. Shimano recommends using this, and I'll put the code on the screen just in case you want to look for this particular one. This is 100 grams. It's huge, and it's just internal hub grease. This is exactly what they recommend to use on their clutches or stabilizer units. I've also tried this and seemed to work just fine. This is just Dumontech free hub grease. Many companies recommend using this for their free hubs. I read online that some people use the Slick Honey, and they were not happy with it. So I would probably avoid that one, but I haven't tried it myself. And talking about Shimano parts, this is one of the old clutches. You can see the code on the screen. It includes the friction unit and also the clutch and the friction spring or friction band. The clutch and friction band are exactly the same. The only part that will be slightly different is this. I'm not going to apply grease on the friction spring itself. I'm just going to apply grease on the clutch. As you can see, I only have grease on the outside of the clutch, and I'll try to keep it clean everywhere else. So just drop in the clutch. As soon as you remove your flat screwdriver, here it is. Both the clutch and this friction unit come in from the top, so you just push them in. Be careful because this doesn't go in that easy. It has to be perfectly aligned, as otherwise it doesn't happen. Aside from that, make sure you have this little rubber gasket in, which is right here, and I'm ready to reassemble everything. At this point, if you just put your finger on top of it and engage the clutch, you should be able to check that it works. If you think it's necessary, you can also adjust it now. I suggest just small adjustments, so a quarter turn, like you see it here. It's quite a bit actually. Engage it again. Alright, that's very smooth actually. Remember, as per Shimano, when you see this grease changing color or you don't see any grease anymore, you know it's time to service your clutch again. Replace the cover. You have 3 little screws here. Use your 2mm Allen key and you're done. I hope you guys found this useful. Don't forget to keep an eye on my channel for future videos. Also have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook accounts where I post stuff regularly. So let's keep in touch, and until next time, thanks for watching guys. Cheers.